Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host, Caliban the Noob, and it's a Makoto Minako Dual Jam!
Yeah! We're a couple of magical people ready to moon crystal power make up this episode. I'm excited. Sailor Noob is brought to you by a teenage girl chugging 4 liters of love potion number 9.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Took a drink. A big drink.
Like a couple drinks. Love potion number 9.
Problematic song.
Yes.
Now we're looking at all issues of consent with new eyes these days. And so,
Oof.
Love potion number 9 on the block.
Yeah.
Funky Cold Medina on the block.
Yeah.
You do one, because I ran out.
Oh, geez. Oh, baby, it's cold outside. On the block.
Yeah, okay. All right. What is in that drink?
Yeah, exactly.
Is this a chug challenge?
I know.
I hope that we talk about the chug challenge later and there's some reality to it, because it just makes me think of a chugging jug.
What is that?
Oh, man.
I don't know what that is.
Between us. The added age between us.
I know.
There's no way that you can explain what Fortnite and chugging jug is, but that's experiencing a renaissance right now.
Oh, great. I'm afraid.
Chugging jug with you.
I still don't know.
This kid. There's something. You drink jugs to get your energy back in Fortnite. It's a video game.
Okay, sure.
And there's a chug jug, and there's a big jug or something like that. It's the one that you want. This is all inference. I don't play Fortnite, and I'm more of a PUBG man. No, and a kid, this enterprising kid who's clearly like 11 or 12, right, the perfect age. He took Estelle's American Boy featuring Kanye West and did his own version of it with like these really clever, fun Fortnite lyrics.
Okay.
He did his own musical version of it.
Okay, sure.
And like I said, I don't know anything about Fortnite, but it's written in that way that you're like, okay, all right, you just cleaned out Tomato Town. Okay, I think I can understand what you're talking about,
sure.
even though I can't,
Yeah, right.
So, yeah, and it's just like cute, and that's what I thought of when Usagi started chugging the thing.
Okay. So, I mean, I guess completely shifting gears here, as I think a lot of you are probably aware of, because we wanted you to know why there wasn't a show posted last Friday. My sensei passed away. And I'd like to dedicate the show to her if I could. She was a fantastic professor, and I was lucky enough to have her as a teacher for both my Japanese language classes, and I also took Japanese literature classes with her as well. And one of the classes that I took with her was a Japanese literature of like post World War II, like just after World War II. So I learned about Mishima. From my sensei.
I don't think we've really talked about it yet, have we?
We
haven't really dug into it.
It doesn't really jive with a lot of Sailor Moon stuff.
No, it's
very
pretty much
different.
the opposite of that. I think he would have hated Sailor Moon.
Probably.
And your sensei also, as a professor and a person involved in higher education, published papers too, wrote papers as well. Did. And one of her fields of study was early Japanese poetry, or the history of Japanese poetry, and lyrical work. And so, she did a paper about poetry in the Heian period, the time of Lady Murasaki and the Tale of Genji and all that stuff. Yes,
I was talking to a very good friend of mine who also had my sensei, and she took another one of her Japanese literature courses, and one of the things that they talked about was the Tale of Genji, and talked about how Genji was supposed to be seen. And as my friend described it, he was basically supposed to be like the Fabio of his time. And like everybody wants to get with Genji, and like everybody, you know, and there was this one character who she couldn't remember the name of, but like basically Genji had loved and left her, and she just was like really ticked off and like, you're a jerk, and just like kind of basically told him like, you're a jerk. And then fast forward some time, and then my friend and my sensei were in Japan on a trip together, and they went to, there's actually a Tale of Genji museum.
Okay, I was waiting for amusement park, but I'm like, oh boy.
That would be something.
Get me in there.
Right? And another thing that we're talking about that we really love about my sensei is she just had this most wonderful, subtle sense of humor. And if you didn't know her well, you didn't necessarily know that she was joking. And sometimes even if you did know her, you're like, are you joking with me? What are you saying? And so she goes up to my friend, and she's like, and like, I guess they basically kind of called this character like the angry woman or whatever, you know, and she goes up to my friend and she was like, look, it's your angry woman. And she was like, yeah, what? Wait, are you saying I am, or are you saying that I like her? What are you saying here? So, but she really was one of my absolute favorite teachers, and I'm really sad that she is gone. So I'd like to say something in Japanese really quick for her. Sensei, iro o sewa ni natte arigatou gozaimashita, which means, Sensei, thank you for your support and everything that you have done for me.
Not a fan. Did she like Sailor Moon?
We didn't actually talk about anime that much in Japanese class, I don't think, surprisingly.
Tale of Genji anime.
Yeah, right. I wouldn't be surprised if there was one.
Well, I think that she would be really jazzed that you were doing something like this with your Japanese education.
I'm trying, man. I'm trying to make her proud, but I feel like I wish I had continued studying more. You know,
well,
and
you know,
get better at it.
It's a journey and not a destination.
Yeah, exactly.
And we can get that Tale of Genji podcast going. Oh boy.
Okay, I better start
1,000 episodes.
Like yesterday.
So Genji seemed kind of sad today, but so hot.
Hottest. Yeah. Did you see how hot Genji was? Oh my gosh.
Don't say anything.
His robes sparkling.
No, don't say anything. Just keep shuffling along in your tight little dress.
Yeah, exactly. With many, many layers to it. So getting back to the episode
have we not introed yet?
No,
okay.
we haven't. So welcome everybody, what you're here for. Today we are talking about episode number 65. Koi no ronso, Minako to Makoto ga tairitsu in Japanese. Dispute over love, Minako and Makoto's conflict, the English translation, and the English title, A Charmed Life. Yeah.
Lucky Charms.
Yeah. It reminds me of the show Charmed.
Charmed, yeah, it does. Yeah.
In the 90s.
They didn't transform, but...
No.
Maybe they did. I don't know. I don't think
I
caught a couple episodes.
They had magic,
and you say in the 90s, but there's a new Charmed.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
I think of it when it first came out and Shannon Doherty was on it.
Right. You can't keep those Good Witch down.
No, and then she got replaced.
Well, you know, sometimes you can't keep a Good Witch employed.
Would you like to give us a synopsis of this episode?
I'm going to try. There's a lot of dialogue in this episode, and I think that's a good thing. But sometimes it makes, a recap a little more difficult than just, she did this, she punches that, she did that. We're getting more into the character stuff. And I think that's... this is it. These are the salad days for character. If I know anything about later seasons, maybe they've got a feeling of, oh, we did another one. But there isn't necessarily a lot of places to go with the characters at that point. So that's where we are. We're in the weeds, but in a good way as far as character development goes. And we get that with two of our characters specifically in this episode as we begin on a Tokyo summer morning. You can tell it's morning because we're getting those prismatic lines, those God rays, those sunbeams coming in at a shallow angle from one side of the screen. And I feel like we've been getting those a lot lately. The girls haven't been in school for a while. We talked about summer and school in Japan previously, but the girls are on summer vacation at this point?
That's a really good question. I don't feel like the show has confirmed that one way or another, but it's entirely possible. The show also, you hear cicadas at the beginning of this episode, which is, you hear them all the time in summer in Japan. Yeah. So I think that they probably are. Well,
one of the clues that it's summertime is the fact that it's hot. Even this early, we see Minako sitting on a park bench. She's hot. She's a wilting flower. And she's waiting for her friends, and she looks around. She's disgusted that so many couples are flirting in this heat.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not subtextual at all. And I love teenage characters in anime because if they're written right, they're all kind of clueless. The kinds of character flaws that you'd usually have in a jerk character or a bad person can be applied to a teen character at will because they're inexperienced with dealing with their emotions.
That's true.
And as we'll see in this episode, Makoto comes running up. She's apologizing for being late, but also telling Minako not to be grouchy about it. Minako's like, I'm not being grouchy. And Makoto says, oh, well, I guess you're jealous of all the couples in the park. And Minako's like, no. But Makoto says, no, I'm just kidding. You're all right. See, you assume that Makoto is super sweet and all, but I think she's got a darker, brattier side that comes out sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, and I think you see it in this episode. Yes. I love her, but...
Makoto says that Ami can't come because she has summer school. Quell surprise.
Yeah.
And Minako says that Rei has got shrine work to do, and neither of them have any idea if Usagi will ever show. So they're just going to have to wait it out.
Yeah.
While they do, we see Chibi walking through the park, being followed by two young bullies.
I know.
One of the bullies says, hey, Chibi, why are you looking all snooty? Listen here, little punk.
I know, right?
It's weird they call her Chibi. Like, it means cute, and it's short for Usagi. It's really more of a nickname or a family name, isn't it? It's like calling her Sweet D.
That's a good point.
Philadelphia.
Because it's like, is she going by that in school now? Did she say, no, you need to call me Chibi?
Well, Mama wants me to be Chibi, so my name's Usagi, but there better be a Chibi in front of that.
Yeah, right. It is weird because you're not usually called your nicknames in school.
Yeah.
And they're definitely not her friends.
Well, maybe these guys have been hanging around. Because as we find out later, there might be an alternative motive here. Maybe they've been paying attention.
Yeah.
Anyway, the other bully calls her Dumpling Head, but she says, oh, yeah, right. You guys are trying to hit on me. It's real grown up. No wonder all the girls in class make fun of you. Well, anyway, off to kindergarten. So she'd flick a cigarette butt. Anyway, the big bully, one of the bullies is like 5'7". He picks her up and he says, I'm going to make you cry. And Chibi does not say, oh, please don't show me your baby pictures again, that would have been a solid burn.
Yeah, whatever.
But she's getting a little scared. Don't worry, a sweaty junior hire and a brunette giant are here to save the day. Minako and Makoto are like, hey, knock it off. And the kids run away. And Mina tells Chibi, don't worry, little boys tend to bully the girls they like. But Mako says, I think they were just bullying her. You're just being a romantic. And Mina's like, whoa, look who's talking about being a romantic, miss. He reminds me of my senpai. And Mako says, well, that's a great insight. Did you get that from Alan? Sad. and Chibi says, hey, I don't care about any of this.
I know.
I'm going to marry Momo-chan.
Yeah, right. And then you're like, oh, no.
What did you say? Usagi has arrived wearing Luna, and she's mad. She says, don't call him Mamo. And Chibi says, well, the dumpling fits. And Mina and Mako are watching this whole thing like, wow, they just can't let it go. Anyway, take back what you said. And Chibi's like, if you three can't get over being dumped, you're getting pretty old. And the girls are like, Chibi, hold the Chibi. A lot of dialogue.
It's a lot.
In the Rainbow Room, Pets looks out over the city and laments that they're stuck in this primitive world. But Calaveras tells her, even if you go back to the future, you've got no one to go back to. That was the song from Back to the Future. And it's on. It seems like the Black Moon Clan has a jealousy problem too.
Yes.
And it's funny, this argument breaks out between Pets and Calaveras. And the camera pans past Berthier.
Yes.
And she's like, here we go again. Sorry, folks. Like she's breaking the fourth wall.
She seems to do that in this episode, yeah.
Calaveras is really giving it to Pets, and she's got the cynical wit of the man who wrote the short story that gave her name, I guess. I don't know. We still don't know why she's called Calaveras.
We'll get to it.
She says, I don't mean that men don't like you. I mean, I'd never bring up you being dumped. Oh. And Pets is like, who cares about men? This is like Gossip Girl.
Yeah.
Only with future powers. Rubeus arrives and says, if you want to go home, you got to get the job done. We got a new crystal point. It's the fancy Omazanai house.
Yes,
they sell charms and jewelry. Humans think their wishes will come true if they wear them. It's pathetic. Calaveras, get out there. Mm-hmm. But Calaveras says, I don't roll out of bed for anything less than 24 carats. Fake jewels do not interest me. And she disappears to another weird room.
I know.
There's floating Greek columns, but they're not actually columns. They're like technical sketches for columns, like on a blueprint.
Yeah.
And since this show came out in the 90s kids will remember that Express spun their men's clothing line off into another brand in the 90s that they called Structure.
Wait, what? I didn't realize they were Structure.
All the pleated khakis and silk shirts you can buy, and those leather belts, the braided leather belts.
Oh, sure,
maybe a paisley tie or two.
So much more about fashion than I would have
I'm going to call this the Structure Room, or Structure. So Calaveras is chilling in Structure, just folding shirts, and she's thinking, maybe I stormed off a little too well. I don't want the boss to be angry. So she summons a glass of wine and talks to it. And we've all been there, right, ladies?
Oh, yeah.
She says, Jamanen. And the wine shoots out of her glass and forms a wine lady.
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep.
A missed chance to call her Vina.
Oh, good point.
That would have been a way to go.
Yeah.
Calaveras says, tell Rubeus I accept the position. But Berthier shows up in Structure and says, too late. Pets is already on it. Mm-hmm. But Calaveras, I'm going to call her Cal because that won't be confusing. Cal says, oh, hell nah. And she takes off. She's got to get on that job. The boss is going to be mad. Back in Tokyo, Usagi is trying to get Mina and Mako to make up, but they're both being obstinate. The girls run into the charm store where your wishes will come perfectly true, says the sign, which to me sounds like the Needful Things school of literal wish fulfillment.
Yeah, kind of.
I wish I was a little bit taller. Okay, poof, you have Marfan syndrome.
Oh my God.
I wish I was a baller. Presto! You're on the 1972 Philadelphia 76ers. That's a very bad team.
Okay.
I wish I had a girl who looked good. I would call her Alakazam, jackass. Her line is busy because she's talking to another guy. That kind of thing. A skilo thing.
Okay, all right. I get what you're saying. I get what you're laying down.
Why does he want a rabbit in a hat with a bat, though? I don't understand that.
I don't know.
I
wish. He can summon it, so
by Skilo. A real 90s episode.
Yeah. He can summon it so it can hurt some people.
It's going to drive his 64 Impala for him. The girls decide to check it out. Mako and Mina are still mad at each other. And from behind a corner, Chibi is following them. She heard gems that make your wish come true. And she thought about the silver crystal.
Yes.
Her hand reaches into her vest. No, not yet. Not yet. We cut to what is presumably the back room of the shop where naked women are suspended from the ceiling by some kind of web. And here's where I checked that the right anime is playing. I guess these people are the staff of the store.
Yes.
And Jamanen has taken care of them.
Yes.
And of course, we're going to need their clothes.
I believe that is what's happening, yes.
Under things they could probably have.
Probably, you would think.
Jamanen is made of wine. Just get them hammered. They'll be like, I forgot this.
I know, right?
I'm going to the break room. In the store, Pets and Calaveras are posing as the store clerks, and they're trying to get girls to buy these gems. The girls buy the gems, and they wish for love, but they immediately become full of hate.
Yes.
So, good move there.
Yeah.
In come the girls, and Usagi is loving all the charms. She's going back and forth. This one makes you better at your schoolwork. This one makes you prettier. Until she sees the Chug Challenge. Mm-hmm. A giant bottle of love juice. Ew. And if you drink the whole thing, I don't know, your love dreams will come true.
Yeah, right.
It looks like Ecto Cooler. It's in this big, I Dream of Genie bottle.
Yes.
Luna thinks even a dumb kid would never fall. Oh, no, there she goes.
I know.
And Usagi's like, she's drinking all the dumb bunny juice.
I know.
So if just for one episode,
of Dumb Bunny.
we just say this is Dumb Bunny 10. Pets and Calaveras tell them, hey, if you guys want love charms, the good stuff is in the back. And they usher them into the good stuff room. Usagi's pretty excited about all the charms, but she really wants one that'll help her get her love back. Pets shows her a gem, and before Usagi can pick it up, Minako and Makoto both reflexively go for it. They grab it, and then they're like, "Oh, why? I don't even think about him anymore." And we pull back, and Pets and Cal are like, "Bingo, we got some fish here." We cut to outside where Chibiusa is looking in the window, and somebody comes up behind her and says, "Freeze! Don't move." Chibi does not immediately spin and start firing, but she turns and sees that it's Mamoru, who has no idea how close he came to going to that big Genghis formal wear in the sky.
Oh, no.
It's 90s. Back inside, Usagi's like, I want to buy everything. I want to buy everything. And Calaveras is like, all right, let's close the deal here. What can I put you down for? But there's a moment happening here while Usagi is flailing all over the shop.
Yes.
Minako says to Makoto, your senpai didn't know what he was giving up. You deserve better. You're a good friend. And Mako says, aw, I'm already over him. And Pet says, me too. Something happening there?
Yeah.
Makoto says, he was a nice guy, but I can do better. And Mina says, I'll try to find somebody better too. Just a note. Mina, apologize first.
I know. I know.
But the important part is we're all made up.
Yes.
And they both think, well, for Usagi, there's only Mamoru. But Chibiusa says, Mama was mine.
I know.
She's appeared in the back room, and Mama was with her. And Usagi's like, oh my God, it worked. But Mamoru's like, I forgot a thing, and I'm going to do that, and I'm out of here. And he leaves. Outside the shop, he's like, seems like I'm destined to keep meeting her. Yeah.
Yeah.
That has been established already.
I know.
It's catching on. Near the store, Ami and Rei have arrived and are looking for the girls. And inside the store, Chibi is going ham on Usagi. It's your fault that he left. But Usagi says, he left because you're a spoiled brat. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. It's your fault. It's your fault. And Pets is like, shut up. And Cal says the quiet part out loud. We got to deal with them or the plan will fail.
Yeah.
And Monogo's like, plan?
Yeah.
You just said a supervillain word.
Yes.
Pet says, love is stupid. And Makoto says, did you just say love is stupid?
I know.
Spoiling for a fight here. And Pet says, it is stupid. Wish on this gem already and hate men like me. Cal summons Jamanen, and they both reveal their couture looks. Minako says, Usagi, get Chibi out of here. But Chibi's like, I'm not going anywhere with her. The villains surround them, and Calaveras says, I feel sorry for you. No, you don't. No. But you have to die. But Minako says, not so fast. She's got a fire extinguisher, and she sprays the villains with it, filling the room with obscuring smoke. And that's not really how it works, but it's fine.
Not really, but within the world of the show, sure.
And Mina and Mako use this chance to use their star power to transform. Jupiter says, falling in love is a young girl's prerogative. And Venus says, in the name of the planet Venus, I'll punish you.
Yes.
The bad guys say, I'm Pets, the most beautiful. But Cal says, LOL, no, I'm Calaveras. Way hotter. And Venus and Jupiter are like, these guys they're not a good team.
I know.
They don't work well together.
I know.
Pets shoots black lightning at them, and Calaveras wraps her whip around Venus's neck. Jammy wraps up Jupiter, and I don't like where this is going.
No.
Pet says, love makes women weak. But Jupiter says, wrong. Love gives us courage. Pet says, yeah, fine, whatever. And electrocutes Jupiter. But that's when a burning mandala frees Jupiter and Venus. Mercury and Mars have arrived. Jupiter and Venus are going to show them the power that comes from love. A sparkling wide pressure.
Yes.
And a Venus love me chain.
Yes.
Pets is like, hey sis, let's split. Clean this up, Jamanen. In the back room, Usagi has locked Chibi in the bathroom, and she transforms into Sailor Moon. She runs into the store and sees all four Senshi strung up by Jamanen, and she wonders if she's in the right anime. Jami's about to cut her with her wine blade. I don't know. Wine blade technique. It's a T-1000 thing.
Yes.
This is post-Terminator 2.
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah,
exactly.
she's gonna T-1000 her. But Sailor Moon is like, wow, I don't even get to say my lines. Okay. And gives her the MPH, and she's dusted. Before she dies, or goes offline, whatever happens to a droid, Jamie screams, Ojama!
Yes.
Which I bet we'll talk about later.
Yes.
The girls are free, and Chibi pops up from behind the counter like, what?
I know. So how much of that did she see?
I'm sure none of it, because I keep harping on this every week, but I've just given up. Later at Pizza Coffee, the best place in town to get hot mozzarella-filled Java, the girls are having a bite, except for Usagi, who is back on her love juice chug and grind.
Yeah.
I'm going to drink all this and be with Mamo again.
Yeah.
Ray is like, don't be stupid. But Usagi says, oh, you're being mean. Wow.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
That's my barf sound.
I know. You have an excellent barf sound.
All over Ray. And as we pan away, we hear the waitress say, excuse me, you're not allowed to bring your own drink in.
I know. It's such a great line.
What's the corking fee on a big jug of dumb bunny juice?
Yeah, I know, right?
The end.
The end. We did it. Oh, good job.
Stuff's getting worked out.
Yeah. Any questions?
I like that it's kind of a stealth Minako jam. I know it's a Minako.
It's a Minako Makoto jam.
Makoto episode, but Minako's the one kind of getting everything done. Just be very heroic.
They get a lot done together, but Minako really shines.
I love both their new powers.
Yes.
Those names are train wrecks, but that's okay. You have to scream something ear catchy.
So the Love Me chain is something that you will see in different iterations of Sailor Moon. Like, I'm pretty sure that it shows up in the live action Sailor Moon too.
Sure.
And it's interesting because I think we saw in this one, it can, it's gosh, what is the word? It's you can attack with it, right, and bind your enemy.
Yeah, they don't. Both of them just kind of do them, and they don't really have any effect. They just make the villains go, oh, okay,
right.
We're not ready for this.
But
like Makoto's, she's kind of like throwing a lightning ball, sort of.
Yeah, looks like a frisbee to me, almost like a lightning frisbee.
Yeah. And then, of course, Venus has got the sort of a whip. And then it made me realize, oh, I just figured this out. Like, they're like, the Black Moon Clan is like dark opposites to the Sailors.
Yes, exactly.
So is it another set of villains that we're eventually going to have to, feel for and empathize with?
I don't know. This is my blank face.
What happened to the old days of like, we're evil, we've got epaulets, can take us out.
We left them in the dark.
But now it's like, no, these girls have problems just like us.
Well, but we did feel bad for Nephrite at the end, though. He was like the one with epaulets that were like,
yeah, but
we feel kind of bad for you. You wanted a parfait, so we feel bad.
He's the exception rather than the rule.
Yes,
though.
Yes.
But because they have human emotions, they may be human, I don't know. They are jealous. And of course, jealousy is a big part of this episode,
yes.
An emotion that's felt. And it affects like the bad guys and the good guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I like the fact that it shows our girls rising above through the power of friendship,
yes,
and love. But I was just thinking, is there an asexual sailor? Because they might be the most powerful one.
Because love wouldn't affect them.
It's like how the Vulcans cured all their societal ills. They suppressed their emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a sailor that doesn't waste time getting jealous about stuff and just goes, star killing attack, like right away. Just like, all right, so you guys want ice cream. I know this. Let's go.
That is
I know their
fantastic
emotions.
Question.
Makoto says in this episode that love makes them stronger, and
yes.
I agree with that. But what if we tried just trying to kill the bad guys?
Let's try to be more like the Vulcans and suppress those emotions.
Yes. What if we didn't get too wrapped up in our senpai?
What if we took our love obsession down a couple notches?
Yeah, we don't have to be so. We don't have to go hard all the time.
I know. I think you bring up some good points. I do want to, you've already kind of done this, but I want to have a moment of appreciation for Minako.
My favorite sailor?
You think so?
Insofar as like, I think Usagi kind of has to be your favorite sailor because it really is her journey.
I mean, it is.
I've seen shows where the main character is annoying and I like other characters, but it's so well done. And she's, I really do like Usagi a lot. But if I had to just say, put her aside, maybe Maybe Venus?
Maybe Minako.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've always thought Makoto's my favorite, then Usagi, and then I'm like, I can't decide, but like, because I do like all of the Senshi, like, a lot, and like, I think when I initially watched the show in the 90s, like, Ami had a really soft spot in my heart because she was like the favorite of one of my sisters and like my best friend, and like Rei, I didn't really like how much her and Usagi fought, but now I think it's kind of funny and like I appreciate it more, and I think I just underappreciated Minako, and but yeah, she's awesome, and she's probably at least number 3 for me now, I think. So
I don't dislike any of them.
I don't either. That's why it's like so hard. Like, you put a gun to my head and like I have to rank them.
Chibi
is a no.
How would you describe Just Enough Trope? We are the Just Enough Trope podcast. I'm your host, Caliban, joined as always by my co-host.
Hi, I'm Mikan Hana.
Oh no, does this mean they can hear all the things I yell at the TV during Downton Abbey?
Why did you do that?
How do you plead?
Let the game begin. Yeah, check these fresh moves. Oh!
Don't shoot man in face.
This isn't the Save Gotham fundraiser.
It's the Chill Family Reunion.
Master Yoda assigned a Padawan to this bold Jedi.
I believe it's pronounced Padawan.
Oh, Padawan, excuse me.
Hey, it's getting late. I think Ralph's going to want his motorcycle back.
Go jerk off the pictures of Dean Gray.
I am freaking getting old.
Yeah, I noticed the life clock was blinking in your hand.
Get out of here, Wilson. Go fight the Teen Titans or something.
I'm unkillable, not unwoundable.
You like Sailor Moon, right? Why don't you sail on his
Wow.
Just Enough Trope. News, reviews, and geek fondue. Every Monday on the Just Enough Trope podcast network.
Loving me never have a say. You so sorry.
What?
For Kyoro Kyoro or Curiously Looking Around, where we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode, today we are going to talk about Japanese drinking culture. So the droid in this episode, Jamanen, manifests from Calaveras' wine in her wine glass. So today, that's why we are talking about drinking culture as well as etiquette in Japan. So drinking alcohol is a pivotal part of Japanese culture. Drinking parties, known as nomikai, are a frequent activity that are utilized to strengthen both business and social relationships.
Nomikai.
Yeah. Nomikai are a part of the culture of most places of employment, from schools to nightclubs. They are most often in restaurants or izakaya, usually with everyone seated at one large table or occupying a separated section of the venue. An izakaya is a type of informal Japanese bar that serves alcohol and snacks, and typically izakaya offer a lot of small plates for your party to share. It's very similar to tapas. It's kind of that's the way I think of it. It's like a Japanese tapas, and there are izakaya restaurants in the States.
Yeah.
So they're great, but anyways, very popular place to go for nomikai. Employees are usually expected to participate to some extent in various nomikai, as it is considered a social aspect of work, although it is not expressly required.
This is like, hey, we're going out. Hey, we're going out, everybody. Come on. You're coming out. You're coming. Come on.
Yeah. But it's like almost even more so.
Yeah.
And even more so. So parties focus on the bond between coworkers as a group and are not considered private or somehow non-work related. So they're considered work related. So it's almost like you're missing a meeting.
Some companies play softball?
Yes. Yeah, so attendance does not necessarily imply that a person will drink any alcohol. However, and attendees generally pay a set amount for the food, drink, and venue regardless of consumption. And leftover money may be put toward organizing the next nomikai.
The nomikai fund.
The nomikai fund. Yeah, exactly. The student version of the nomikai, which happens at universities, is called a kompa, and generally they're more relaxed than nomikai, and they have some kind of different characteristics. And that was basically established during the Meiji period. and it basically focuses on the custom of members of the same class or dorm drinking together to deepen their bond of friendship. And these gatherings were largely restricted to members of the same sex until after World War II, and then the mixing of sexes became increasingly more common.
Huh.
And there's like, I don't really want to get into it right now because we have a lot of other things to get into. But if you want to look into Kampai more, there are a lot of different versions. There's a lot of different drinking games that they play, and
God.
It's extensive.
Well, anyway, back to freshman camp.
I know. Most nomikai, with the exception of the end of the year, which is bonenkai, which means forget the year party.
Chemically.
Yeah. Consists of workers so most nomikai consist of workers in one section or department of the workplace. In the case of bonenkai, everyone in the entire company may be present. In large companies, however, separate bonenkais are often the norm for each department. Another...
At the end of this, we're talking about substance abuse treatment programs, right, in Japan?
We'll kind of get there.
Okay.
That's
But first,
part
the
of
party.
it. Yeah, right.
First the fun.
First the fun.
Then the aspirin.
Yes. Another point of etiquette which differs from Western business culture is that it is considered acceptable to become drunk at nomikai. In the same vein, things said and done under such circumstances are not taken seriously, but are forgiven or ignored upon return to the workplace. Consequently, there are sometimes frank and emotional displays between coworkers, regardless of rank, which may not occur in normal workplace contexts. This phenomenon is called...
What happens at the nomikai stays at the nomikai.
Yeah, well, it's called bureiko in Japanese.
The courage of drunkenness or something like that? What's bureiko mean?
It basically literally means no punishment on rudeness.
No punishment on rudeness.
Like, from what I've read...
Who wants to kiss my wife?
Seriously, you can say, like, really offensive things to superiors. You can strip naked. You can throw up all over the place. And it will be forgiven and never talking about again. And we just move on.
Right. And then, like, maybe we don't invite him to the next
No,
one.
I don't think that's even a thing.
Oh.
But so the Japanese utilize drinking together as a way to initiate and consolidate relationships so much that there is a term for it, nominication. Nominication is a combination portmanteau.
I think, yeah, it's my favorite Chili Peppers
Yes,
album.
right. Japanese term nomi meaning to drink, and the English term communication. Employees are able to be more honest with their superiors or coworkers, or perhaps bring up an idea that they were previously not very confident to mention.
Right, just good luck explaining it. You know?
Yeah, right.
So this we restructure the whole tree.
You're just drawing on napkins the entire time.
I need more napkins.
On the other hand, it is generally regarded as unacceptable to pressure people into drinking alcohol or consuming more of it than they want. Participants may drink non-alcoholic beverages or leave a glass full to signal that they are not willing to drink any more alcohol.
Huh.
Then no one will offer to fill it. However, people have been pressured to drink, or at least felt obligated to continue drinking past their limit. Sometimes they are afraid that they won't be considered for a project or a promotion if they stop drinking. So it's not problematic, to say the least.
Yeah. Just green tea for me. Thanks.
Yeah,
10 green teas later.
Yeah, 10 green
There's
teas
not a
later.
single oxidant left in my body.
Nomikai often go very late. Sometimes they will go to a couple of different bars, and it has like different names for it. It is not uncommon for participants to get very little sleep and show up at work the next day tired and hungover. This is socially acceptable. However, it is not acceptable to be late or miss work the following day due to being hungover. So you cannot do that.
You don't plan anything big after one of those?
That is a fantastic.
As long as it's
question.
cool. Like as long as you come in, they've got like half the lights turned off, and everybody's just kind of wearing sunglasses, watching cat videos.
No
on YouTube.
sudden noises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then big chicken finger like lunch
for
everybody. Yeah.
Right. There you go. When you go out drinking in Japan, it is considered rude if you start drinking before everyone else in your group gets their drink and there has been a toast. So you wait for someone in the group to do a toast and say Kampai, which literally translates as empty the cup or glass, and is the Japanese equivalent for cheers.
Sure.
There might be a speech or there might not, but you make sure to raise your glass. Clicking them is optional but encouraged, but always make sure that the glass of the most senior member in the group, the senpai, is slightly higher than everyone else's. So there's a lot to get to on this. I will have to come back to the senpai kohai relationship again at some point, but I do want to just mention that it is a very integral part of Japanese culture, especially in business and in school, as well as martial arts. Those are probably the places where you see it the most. And it's a vertical hierarchy sort of thing, but it's an interdependent relationship, right? Yeah. So we'll talk about that more at some point, but it does come up a lot. You need to be aware of it when you go out drinking with a company.
Hey, that guy's glass is too high.
Yeah, right.
Watch your ass.
If you are the kohai, it is considered proper etiquette for when you toast with your senpai to hold your glass with two hands, one hand on the bottom of the glass and the other on the side or handle if it's a beer glass. It is common to share food and snacks when you go out drinking. If you are sharing food, there will typically be a pair of communal chopsticks just for serving the food that no one eats with. There are also torizara, which literally means take plate, which are small personal plates. Everyone gets their own when sharing food, particularly at an izakaya. So while out drinking, it is a kohai's responsibility to notice if drinks are getting low or plates are getting empty, and then to ask their senpai if they want another drink or offer to serve your senpai more food. If you are drinking with friends, the pouring of drinks is slightly less formal, but again, no one pours their own drinks. If a friend wants to pour you more and you have more than a couple of sips left, you should take a drink to make room. And then hold your glass up while they pour and take at least one sip before putting the glass down.
Right.
So there's a lot of things to keep track of as you're...
And accept the things that you
getting
cannot
more
change.
Drunk. Yeah, right. Beer is the most popular alcoholic beverage in Japan. A lot of bottles and cans of beer in Japan are rather large, known as binbiru. Typically about 500 milliliters or 16.9 ounces, which is about a half liter. These are often shared among the group of people, which is one reason why no one should drink directly from the bottle. Alcohol is... What?
Don't try to crush them on your head.
No, they're hard.
They're that thick aluminum.
They're very thick.
Yeah.
You can't crush them. Don't do it. Just do not. That's a good point.
You will become a beer unicorn.
Yeah,
if you
don't
try
do that.
Yeah.
Alcohol is readily available in Japan. You can buy a variety of different kinds of beer and alcoholic beverages, including some hard spirits like whiskey and sake in a kombini or convenience store 24 hours a day. You do not even have to show your ID at the register. You just have to push a button to confirm that you are 20 years of age or over.
If you can reach the button.
The legal drinking age in Japan is 20. It is legal in Japan to drink alcohol on the street. It is not uncommon to see someone drinking on their train commute. There are even some vending machines that sell beer. Unfortunately, underage drinking is a large problem in Japan.
I couldn't imagine why.
Because it's readily available and they don't check ID. A high percentage of junior and senior high school students have had some experience with alcohol, with karting being somewhat uncommon and beer vending machines are not. Not all machines check your ID before purchase either. Some of the older machines, they don't. And they take cash, so they won't even be able to trace it to a credit card.
Right.
It's extremely easy for teens to purchase alcohol. In 2019, 18,000 people in Japan were taken to the hospital via an ambulance due to acute alcohol intoxication. 50% of those people were in their 20s. In Japan, and I think a lot of it is because a lot of these people are just starting out in the work world, and they're going to all
I was going to say, what percentage were wearing suits?
Yeah, right. And a lot of them are going to nomikai, and they're, or they're in college. And the higher percentages happen to be in March and April, which is when school and new people for businesses start in usually April-ish. They all start around the same time. And then the summer, where there's a lot of festivities. Yeah. And then in December with winter holidays and that sort of thing.
so any time of the year.
Yeah. But, feeling the pressure to drink and then not knowing how to say no if it's going to affect your job. It's a lot of stress. In Japan, alcohol is not thought of as a drug, and alcoholism is not thought of as a problem by the majority of Japanese society. As a result, the drinking culture in Japan that encourages you to drink, and the society not seeing it as a problem, alcoholism is a major issue in Japan. Unlike the U.S., there's no notion of dry counties. Prohibition never happened, and no religion dissuades drinking. Sake is, it's true.
Right.
Sake is actually an integral component of Shinto. For example, at Shinto weddings, instead of exchanging a kiss, the couple will drink sake from the same cup.
They do sake shooters.
Yeah, well, they do one. But
you may now get hammered with the bride.
Oh my God. And some sects of Japanese Buddhism permit monks to drink. In a 2013 survey managed by the Pew Research Center as part of their Global Attitudes Project, participants from 40 nations were asked if they thought that drinking alcohol is morally acceptable, unacceptable, or not a moral issue. Guess where Japan ranked in that list of 40 countries?
I can't remember if it's positive or negative, but low?
Well, they were at the top, saying that it wasn't a problem.
It's not a moral issue.
Yeah. They, with 66% of the Japanese people surveyed saying that drinking is acceptable. The next highest...
While they're drinking.
Yeah, right.
Could you put that down and answer me?
The next highest country, and it was by a large margin, they were the top. The next highest country was the
Netherlands. Oh.
The Czech Republic.
Czech Republic.
With 46%.
A lot of good beers come from Czechoslovakia.
Really? I didn't know that. So research shows that the rate of alcoholism in most developed countries is declining, but in Japan it is increasing.
Oh.
A 2013 survey managed by the Japan Health Ministry found that about 1.09 million people in Japan abused alcohol, but only 40 to 50,000 were getting treatment. So it's not great. I did, when I was reading my research too, a lot of people who are not native to Japan were talking about how going over there for work or for school and how the drinking culture was so different, and how some of them started abusing alcohol or were maybe abused it more because they were encouraged to.
Right.
And one guy got let go from his job because he was he wasn't just hungover. He was drunk at the job more than once, or drinking on the job or something like that. That extreme.
Yeah. Was he a crane operator?
No, no. Nobody got hurt physically anyways.
Woo!
I know. And I mean, it has become something that they're trying to somewhat draw more attention to. I know that there are AA chapters over there, at least that speak English. But it's, there's not really because they don't think it's a problem. there's not a lot of things set up to help people who are struggling with alcoholism.
Somebody must feel that it's a problem.
Yes.
Definitely somebody who has like puke on their porch like every morning.
Well, and something else that comes up is that you know, when you have such a high percentage of alcohol abuse, you have an increase in, you know, physical abuse happening.
Oh, sure.
As well as suicide. So this is contributing to the suicide rate.
And it's not, and they, you know, it's completely open and free, like you said. Like you just, you know, they fire cans at Sapporo at you when you're out on the street. But like it doesn't, the access isn't necessarily the factor because, you know, America has a lot of problems with the same thing. And yet we are incredibly restrictive about alcohol. It's only until like, you know, recently that a lot of states have relaxed, like there are no liquor on Sundays rule.
Yes.
And all of these dry laws that, you know, regulate when you can do it. The COVID pandemic, of course, a big contributor to that as well, because a lot of places you can take away alcohol now. You can't consume it on the street.
Right, like breweries or something like that.
Yeah, but places that are on, I can never remember which one's off, which one's on sale, but no, there's some restaurants where you can take wine and stuff away.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and usually you can't do that because that's not part of their liquor license. Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't necessarily think that having, you know...
Access.
Access, Asahi next to, you know, Diet Coke in the vending machine is necessarily the problem, but it certainly speaks to the attitude.
Well, these are whole vending machines that are just beer. I don't know if I made that. Okay.
If the attitude is set against changing it at all, then it's not going to change. You know what I mean?
Well, so
look, Prime Minister, this is very important. Are you drunk right now?
Yeah, well, so there is some concern that these vending machines would maybe like a problem, and they're worried about underage drinking, right? So, they from an article that I read that was written last year, Japan decreased the, I don't know when this happened exactly, but they decreased the amount of the country's beer vending machines from 200,000 to that was 25 years ago now, to have been decreased over the years to 15,000. But they didn't get rid of them.
Right.
They're still available, and you can literally buy beer from a vending machine or the kombini and just open it, and then you can drink it from the can on the street.
Sure.
You know, nobody bothers you. Nobody says anything. It's it's completely legal. There's no law that against for drunk and disorderly in Japan.
Really?
Yeah. And then you see like these, we've seen a couple of like these pictures that have kind of gone viral of these business, mostly men, because you don't typically see women passed out alone on the street, but their
boss isn't like force feeding them alcohol.
Well, they get force fed alcohol too, and some of them get really sick. But they, these people in business suits passed out on the street in these weird positions because they've had way too much to drink, and their friends or coworkers just leave them there. Or maybe they were traveling home alone and they just, you know, they're like, I'm sleeping here tonight. You know, seems like a good idea at the time. I don't know, but like I, saw some things like people were like, well, maybe there's a lot of shame in Japanese culture.
Oh, really?
And shame is like a motivator. So I read something that was like, well, I think maybe people are starting to realize that this is a real problem, and because they feel shame about seeing all of these business people in suits passed out on the street.
Well, yes.
And it's like,
I could see that.
Yeah.
The pride of the Japanese workforce.
Yeah, right.
Just in the rescue position.
Yeah.
On the concrete.
Yeah. So there has been kind of like a shift, and there have a lot of colleges have things in place now where like they have some sort of program where like they're trying to discourage people from forcing people to drink too much. You know,
it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I have a solution.
Yeah.
You send them all to Goose Island.
Okay. Yes. Yeah.
you
You should.
Now
Okay.
you gotta explain
Okay.
an inside joke. So,
All right.
Mika and I were traveling for business.
Uh-huh.
We were going to the Comic-Con in Seattle, Washington.
Yes.
The Emerald City Comic-Con. And, of course, being on the West Coast, there are a lot of Asian Americans. There's a lot
Yes.
of Asian immigrants and Asian business people. And,
Yes.
but we were in the airport.
Yeah.
And we were waiting for our flight at the terminal, waiting to board. And this was a terminal that was had some international flights as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided to eat at a restaurant
Mm-hmm.
to pass the time. And I don't think this is anything special. I mean, I think it could have been branded as anything, but this particular restaurant was, just regular burgers and fries. But it was
Yes.
sponsored by Goose Island, which is I wouldn't call them a microbrewery. They're a little bigger than that, but they are a beer brand and like a small brewery.
Yeah.
And so we were finishing up and we were just paying for our thing. We were getting ready to get, ready for boarding. And as we were leaving, this guy comes in and he sits down and I immediately pegged him as a Japanese businessman traveling on business.
Young guy.
He had young guy, younger than us, and very nice suit, roller bag. And he sits down and he puts his bag over there and he gets all ready to go. And I'm like, oh, he's going to have a little meal.
Uh-huh.
And the server comes up and he says, hi, I'm your server, welcome. Here's the menu. Let me tell you about the specials. And the guy's like, And then just about ready to go, he says, I'll be back in a second. Oh, can I get you anything to drink? And the businessman turns and there's a big round sign with a goose that's their logo, the logo of Goose Island.
Yeah.
And he kind of gestures at it like, And as we were walking away, I heard him say, if it's not Goose Island, why am I here?
Which is like so bad. I love it so much because it's like you could do an advertisement.
Yeah,
for Goose
that was
Island.
a commercial right there.
Yes.
I didn't see the cameras,
Cut,
but
print,
maybe
we've got
it. So whenever somebody says something just is kind of obvious, that's become like a shorthand inside joke for Mika and I. Was like, if it's not Goose Island,
then why am I here?
Yeah. And I looked it up. I ended up looking it up later. That I don't know the exact figures, but Goose Island is a brand that's sold.
In
they
Japan.
have import beers just like we do.
Yes.
And they recently, a couple years before that happened, they had recently opened a brewery in Japan. So they were making
right.
and selling it in Japan. So it must be a popular beer
brand
in Japan. They must love Goose Island.
They must.
Because if it's not Goose Island,
why am I here?
Yeah.
I love it so much. Itadakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? This episode, Usagi chugs a lot of green charmed juice. I say in quotation marks. I know. For the chug challenge, a giant bottle at the fancy
It seems irresponsible.
Omazanai house, and another at the restaurant that we see at the end of the episode, which just reminds me, I forgot to say something about the Omazanai house.
The chimes.
Before we got into everything else.
Yeah.
So the store name is Omazanai. It's not an actual Japanese word, but it's referring omajinai, which is a good luck charm. And something else with hiragana and katakana, the character for G, which is J-I, and Z, which is Z-I, are written the same. So this is most likely kind of a play on that, is what I'm thinking.
Okay. But it's not like a brand name. They don't have to worry about somebody getting mad about them using a name.
I mean, it is... Well, it's the brand name in the show, but
right. But like if you Omajinai isn't like trademarked or something.
No,
so they're like,
no.
well, we'll just go with Omazanai.
Yes, they were just being cute.
They're just fooling around.
They're just being cute.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all that's going on there.
But what's the juice?
I know. What is the juice? I like that you called it
Ecto Cooler.
Ecto Cooler.
That's what it looks like.
It does. It's so 90s too. I used to love Ecto Cooler.
This show, hey, it's the 90s. The show's all about the 90s.
I know. At the restaurant, everyone else is drinking some sort of orange drink, maybe an orange soda. Also, the name of the restaurant, which you mentioned, is Pizza Coffee. And there's a statue of a clucking chicken above the sign.
Yeah.
What?
I know.
Is this
That's
this
the mascot of Pizza Coffee.
I know. Is this the kind of restaurant that makes so many different kinds of food that they wonder if you make anything well? Pizza, coffee, chicken nuggets, banh mi, sushi, etc.
It's like streetz.
I know.
There's this random, I don't know, they must be a chain, but there's a restaurant that started a couple years ago near where I live called Streetz. And I was like, okay, Streetz is a sports bar, around the streets.
Yeah, sure.
But then they also have, smaller signs that show all the things they do. And it was
Yes.
like burger, tacos, gyros, pizza, banh mi.
Yes.
And it was like, we love options as Americans.
Yes.
But I think there's a hard and fast rule, which is the more things a restaurant does, the worse it does each one of those things.
Right.
So I never ate at Streets.
No. But if you're not streets ahead, you're streets behind.
All right. You were just waiting.
And then, of course, the server at the end says that she can't bring in any outside drinks, which is such a nice touch because, you do get that a lot in restaurants. Feel engaged, we rate a baddie 1 to 5 dark stars, 5 being the most wicked. The droid in this episode is Jamanen. The name Jamanen references and is a rearrangement of the Japanese term for manager or manager in Japanese. In other words, instead of manager, which is Manejaa, it's Jamanen, which is Jamane. So it's like the first half of the word flips, if that makes sense.
So when she's defeated at the end, she says, Ojama!
Yeah.
Which comes from the Japanese phrase, ojamashimasu, which means I'm intruding, or it means sorry for the intrusion. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right.
Ojamashimasu.
Yeah, right.
And I guess it's used as a greeting when you enter somebody's house or room, like, oh, excuse me. Oh, hello.
Uh-huh.
And the term jama is also used to describe an obstacle or someone who is a nuisance or in the way.
Right, or a hindrance or that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And she definitely is a hindrance to them, for sure. Yes.
So, but why does she say, I think she, because nobody else says, they don't say cleansing or anything when they die. They don't really yell anything. I know. But they thought like, let's have her yell something. Let's have her yell a pun based on a part of her name, which also means this. They're trying to use every part of the punfalo.
Well, I also think that like if it is a thing on manager,
but she's not the manager of anything. She's an employee. She's not a manager.
But my thoughts are, just go with me for a minute.
Go somewhere.
The Ayakashi sisters are taking over a store, and she's supposed to be the store manager, and normally the manager would be the one in charge.
But she's not in charge.
But the Senshi proved to be,
yes,
but they proved to be more problematic, more than they want to deal with the cry, and they call the manager, Jamanen, to handle it. And then like she says what she says at the end, and it's like, oh, I didn't do what I was supposed to do, that sort of thing.
Is it possible too that we're barking up the wrong tree, and then it's just a play on jam because she is a jelly-ish character as well?
Yeah, right. But it would be like the English word jam. But yeah.
If you want a let's say rabbit hole to go down, there is Jamanen fic online.
Mm-hmm. It's not surprising.
Yeah, it is adult.
Also not surprising.
And I don't know, but there's probably art too. So
fantastic.
Just saying.
if you want it,
people got a certain impression from this character.
Yes. Going off of that, should we go into her character design?
Sure. Not much there.
No. She is shiny and red. Comes from wine. Even though she comes from the wine, she's very sticky and stretchy and has a jelly-like appearance that is able to stretch and contort her body in many different ways, including her sword, knife, hand thing that was very T2. And she has bright green eyes. Her hair is styled into 2 long jelly pigtails. And of course, her professional yellow bow tie with her light green Black Moon Clan jewel in the center, which is just...
The bow tie is the bow tie is very service professional type thing. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Does Calaveras just keep Jamanen in a wine glass? I have like so many questions.
That was the wine glass, if you're an optimist, was half full. Has she been drinking Jamanen?
That's another really good and horrific question to ask. Was she thinking about drinking Jamanen and then she was like, no, I guess I will work today. And then she calls her out.
Hold off.
Yeah. Oh, man. I really like that her character is able to stretch and contort and change herself very easily, and she seems really powerful. I also like that she comes from wine, and the only article of clothing is her little yellow bow tie. I think that she's really effective and is holding her own with the Senshi until Sailor Moon arrives. So I'm going to give her 4 out of 5 stars.
Huh. No.
No?
No. Like 2.
Okay.
She's confusing. She
is.
has a bit that is stolen from a very good movie, which is, Steal from the Best, but it doesn't do anything with it other than push us into ecchi territory. She's got a blade she never even uses. And even though she gets a drop on Sailor Moon, I don't know how. It's sort of like in a comic, how could a guy be flying through the air and deliver an entire sentence about what he's going to do to Magneto? Like, is he flying for like 30 seconds? And another thing, Magneto, I'll tell you, I'm going to get you when I get over
Apparently he's really far away.
And so, she even attacks quickly, and Sailor Moon's like, there's a lot of kind of meta bits and fourth wall breaking in this episode, but Sailor Moon's like, I guess I don't get to give a speech, as she's like firing up her moon halation. So not even really effective, just good for like tying women up. Not great,
which isn't great.
And they didn't do anything with it. What if she, I know we can't like get these kids hammered, although I know they do get hammered in later episodes, but like what if she diffused herself? What if you touched her and you got a buzz? Or what if she poured herself down your throat? Okay, back to those fics.
Okay,
but anyway,
it's
just a bunch of
really
stuff
fast.
that I just don't want to deal with.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna say 2.
Okay, that's fair.
You couldn't have given her body detail, and then she morphs into wine like a 90s energy drink commercial.
Sure, yeah.
But instead, it's just like, don't worry about it. She's just jelly lady.
Yeah, I know.
She's jelly lady.
She's jelly lady, and she's got a little bow tie.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, right. So we know, which end is up.
Yeah, yes. I mean, is that to emphasize the lack of clothing, or
Yeah, which is more nude? Just nude or nude with a bow tie?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Ask the Chippendales.
Yeah, no kidding. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about Calaveras really quick, because we see her a little bit more in this episode for more significant face time, I guess. And her name in Japanese is pronounced Kadaberasu. And she is named after the mineral calaverite. Calaverite or gold telluride is an uncommon telluride or gold.
I'm going to go to Telluride someday. That and Toronto as well.
Yeah, right.
The TIFF festival.
Yes.
But Telluride sounds pretty good.
Yeah. Am I saying it wrong?
It's a film festival.
I know. It's a telluride of gold. It's a metallic mineral with approximately 3% of the gold replaced by silver. It was first discovered in Calaveras County, California in 1861, and it was named for the county in 1868. The mineral has a metallic luster, and its color ranges from a silvery white to a brassy yellow. It is closely related to the gold-silver telluride mineral sylvanite, which contains more silver. And then I also wanted to talk about Calaveras' outfit. It is again inspired by couture. Her gold-plated bodice, which looks like armor, red necklace, armbands, and giant gold hair bow are inspired by the couture design from French designer Christian Lacroix, his fall-winter 1992-1993 couture line. The bodice especially looks like Lacroix's design with the ribbing details, corset boning, and buttons, except on Lacroix's design they are gold instead of red. The skirt of the Lacroix dress is very different. It's very long, practically touching the floor, and is made of several different colors of fabric: purple, goldish green, red, and a black floral print, and also has a fabric arm wrap. I really like Calaveras' look. The metal, the armored bodice with the bright, short, and flirty skirt has a really fun contrast to it, I think.
You know what it reminds me of?
What?
And I think this must be there. It reminds me of...
Oh, Wonder Woman? Yeah. Yes, I can totally see that. Yeah, good point.
She's got the chest armor, which is, for a woman, I guess it's a bodice, but if it was an armor piece, it would be a cuirass or something like that. Mm-hmm. And she specifically got arm things. She's got like a wrap on one arm, but she's got like a bangle or a bracer on the other one.
Yes.
And she's got the little skirt. Wonder Woman alternately has had a skirt, or more recently they give her the Greek armor leg things, which are called praetorges.
Okay.
Because, I don't know, they ran out of good words and vowels. And yeah, I mean, like her color, it's all just sort of like those warm tones, but it just really reminds me of Wonder Woman for some reason.
I get that, the boots. Same kind of shape. Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah, it has very, especially like the bodice and the skirt combo, I think. Yeah, no, I can totally see that. And I would not be surprised if that was part of the inspiration as well.
And thinking about that, I just realized now what Pets has reminded me of for a long time, which is the White Queen from the X-Men series.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Who, they just basically, just draw her in underwear. That's fine.
Pretty much.
She fights in underwear, but she generally has she doesn't wear a skirt or a dress. She usually has like a bodice or bustier, I suppose.
Sure.
But she's usually got like puffs or something like that. Feathers.
Like fur or feathers.
Like a boa, or just like a neck piece and shoulders. And gloves, and just a very kind of slinky kind of look.
Yeah.
So
Pets
I don't know.
I'd
have to imagine that, like, people that draw anime or also maybe draw manga or are comic fans, and these influences kind of sneak in.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, like you consume stuff all the time too, right? So even if it's not like intentional, like, you're like, what do I like? What do I really like how this character looks, or something like that. Or if it just
so I intend to use elements of that character
all right.
in this character.
Yeah, all right. You got it. In Sabu or Dabu, where we talk about the most interesting differences between the sub or the dub. In the dub, the droid Jamanen's name was changed to Jellyex.
Jelly.
Jelliex.
Jellyex.
Jellyex. I don't know.
From Jellyex 2.
Yes. And in the dub, Calaveras is renamed Avery. I have no idea why.
Huh. Like printer labels?
Yeah, right.
Avery Brooks?
I don't think so.
I don't know. Huh.
I know.
All right. To be continued.
Yeah, I think I've seen other fans critique this too, but like...
Well, I mean, Pets.
Well, Deke and...
she's a country mile ahead of Pets.
Well, Deke and like Cloverway, the names that the English names that they've picked for the dub characters, it's like, why? Like Makoto's name is Lita, which is, it's not a bad name, but it's not a common name. So I don't know, whatever. In the original anime, Pets demands that Usagi and Chibiusa stop arguing as Calaveras told Pets to calm down. In the Deke dub, Pets demands that Usagi and Chibiusa leave the store as Calaveras told Pets to calm down. They will need the girls to finish their mission. So the wording gets changed a little bit. And Pets is asking them to leave.
We got sales totals to make.
Yeah, right.
Close the deal, Pets.
Yes. In the dub, the scene where the actual jewelry store workers are seen unconscious and tied up in the shop's back room is cut. Obviously, yeah, there's implied nudity and they took their clothes, and probably also it's a kid show and there are people tied up.
Pushing this thing where, like, I get it. They're not waving a wand. It'd be cool if they threw like a piece of technology down. All the crystal points are empty lots, and they're like throw a thing down, and it goes transformers into like a store or something. But they're taking over businesses here. Mm-hmm. I don't know if this is like a parable about capitalism or retail or something, but they have to take these places over. But the girls, our girls, never interact with the people who are kidnapped. They never do anything. You know, we started this whole saga with Luna just running in and going, "Oh, I found and freed all the people in the basement that you never saw."
Right.
So it's like, you could just cut that line and it wouldn't matter. And we never really ask ourselves where these stores came from or if they're real stores, would we? But the show seems to want to push that yes. These are real places that the Black Moon Clan is usurping. But it refuses to follow up on that in any way. So, they don't even save the girls in the back in this one. They're going to go, well, I guess we learned the true meaning of love after all. And 2 minutes later, like, some naked women are going to go, what happened? And they're going to just come out of the back room.
Yeah, I know.
So, like, why bother?
Yeah, good point. And I don't think we would really question
the multi-story freezer at Bob Floyd's, the TARDIS freezer, is like chock full of like frozen victims, I guess.
I know. People who got too close to the store.
Yeah, or employees.
Yeah, well,
the droid
employees.
kept hiring people, so you're not working out. Stack them like cordwood.
Oh my God.
Hiring, always hiring.
Next. Yeah. Oh, jeez.
At Bob Floyd's.
Oh, that's really terrible. In the dub, the edited stock footage of Jupiter Power makeup and Venus Power makeup was utilized instead of editing the new transformations. In the dub...
That's a sloppy dig.
Yeah. In the dub, Jupiter's attack sparkling wide pressure was called Jupiter Thunderclap Zap.
Thunder Zap.
Fixed it.
Yeah.
Fixed it. You're welcome.
Yeah.
In the dub, Venus's attack Venus Love Me Chain was called Venus Love Chain and Circle.
Okay.
Yeah. So, they're just powers, whatever. It's not a big deal.
But I like the, and we don't necessarily see this in Minako's character, but I like the implication of, it's a love me chain.
Yeah,
because she is Venus. Venus is, the goddess of
love
and beauty, but also her sign is a mirror, and the narcissism is baked in. And so I like the love me chain.
Well, and I like that it's like little glowing hearts too,
Yeah,
and they like,
it's girly.
It's super girly, and it comes up and it's like circling her, and then she like is able to fling it out. It looks
and it turns
really
into ninja
cool.
stars and sinks into the enemy's flesh. No. That is the Ghost Rider from Marvel Comics.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Now we're up to where we rate the episode. I like that Minako and Mako forget that they're fighting and they remember and stop talking to each other. I like that Minako extended the olive branch to Mako first. And what she said to Mako as well. I really like how they pull together to fight as a team, just as Pets and Calaveras are bickering. There's also some really great comedic moments in this. Especially enjoyed Usagi chugging the love potion both times. I do really like the episode, but I wish that Mako and Minako had their own episodes where they got new powers. So I'm going to give this episode 4 out of 5 roses.
Jeez. I'm going to give this episode a provisional 3 out of 5 roses. Speaking of roses, I like how Tuxedo Mask.
Not really in this one.
Mamoru just leaves.
Yeah.
And that's it. And Tuxedo Mask is like, I'm the defender of Sailor Moon. I don't really care if you guys get like molested by a wine monster.
Yeah, what the heck?
So, yeah, interesting. And here's why it's provisional, because I appreciate the continuing of the development of the relationship of all the main characters. Like we said at the beginning of the episode, there's a lot of dialogue in this episode, but it is going towards deepening the connection that these girls have. I also liked the face-off we had a double face-off, a tag team match against our two bad guys and our two good girls who both got new powers, but of course it was sort of crammed together.
Yeah.
And I liked the drinking the dumb bunny juice.
Yeah.
But otherwise, we've had several episodes where girls go to buy trinkets that will make their boyfriends love them more. And
That's
then
very
it does
true.
something weird to them. This has already happened.
That's true.
And there are, I think, still a couple unanswered questions in what's going on here. This isn't quite a marking time episode, as I've complained about before, but it does seem kind of weird that we have to do 2 in 1.
Right.
Why don't they get their own? Maybe they're trying to avoid what I was complaining about before, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll get a
1, 2,
mythology
3, 4.
episode. Then we'll do something else.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to good stuff in the future by kind of a wheel spinning episode this week. And that's why it's a provisional 3.
Okay. All right. My English title this week is Mako and Minako's Quarrel, Fight for Love.
My title is Do No Charm.
Oh, that's so
But there's no doctors in the episode, so
bad.
it's
It's
not really all that great.
Oh. Next episode, we are talking about episode number 66. Usagi no oya go koro? Kare no sankaku kankei in Japanese. Usagi's parental love, the curry romance triangle, the English translation, and the English title, A Curried Favor.
No. The, well, yeah, I guess.
It's growing on you.
It's a favor. It's curry. You just say a curry favor, because it's not like I've taken this favor and I have fried it up with a blend of spices.
Right.
You just say a curry favor.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's a pun.
Right.
Using the actual word isn't a pun, like changing, well, that's not actually what a pun is. But anyway, it's not a play on words if you don't use the words that are...
Right.
Okay,
I
anyway.
understand.
All right, we'll get into it next week. Never mind. Before we go, I wanted to mention that we've got a Patreon that you can find at patreon.com/Sailor Noob.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a new patron that we wanted to announce. Lizzie has joined us as an inner senshi at the $5 level, and we appreciate that.
Thank you, Lizzie.
Yeah, Lizzie is real excited, and we're excited to have her. So welcome aboard, and you too can get extra content on our Patreon by becoming a patron.
Mm-hmm.
Don't keep going, don't stop, otherwise you'll screw it up. So go to patron.guy, screwing it up. There we go. Patreon.com/Sailor Noob and join the team. I also wanted to mention that I don't know if this is in response to what we had mentioned before, or if it's just natural because we're doing a good job, but we've been going up on those iTunes charts.
Yay!
We mentioned this before a while ago, and we've been kind of fluctuating, but we're at number 7. Get this, number 7 for anime and manga in Canada.
Yay, Canada!
So, Canada.
Yes.
You love yourself some Sailor Moon, and we love that. And then we're at number 23 for the animation and manga charts in Great Britain.
That's awesome!
Yeah, so...
I love it.
I don't know why we can't crack the U.S. charts.
I don't know why either.
I mean, we're on the charts. We're just not very high.
We're not very high.
But yeah, so we're excited about that, and we
Yes.
wanted to thank the listeners for putting us there.
Yes, thank you so much.
So leave a rating and a review.
Yes, leave a rating review.
Well, we appreciate it.
We appreciate all of your support, and we're excited that you're excited and that you're on this journey with us.
Yeah.
So thank you for
Here
being a part of this.
In the weeds
yes.
of season 2,
I
as I
know.
called it before. But yeah. I do provisional rating aside, I am liking where we're going.
When you say provisional, is it
What
gonna,
a great time to ask me about this.
I know. I was just thinking about it more. Is it going to go up or down if depending?
If this doesn't lead to anything, then it goes down.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You never give somebody something a provisional because they're doing a super great job. Do you know what I mean? It's like, whoa, you saved that entire busload of nuns.
But there have been times
Here's
where you're
half
like,
of a candy bar. No, you give them the whole candy bar.
there have been times where you're like, I'll give it a provisional if this character comes back, and then I'll take it away if they don't come back. So.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the character that is coming back in this case is something built on the things that we're seeing in this episode. I mean, we didn't even talk about the suggestion that Pets is nursing a broken heart herself, and who that could be and how that could factor in. So, like I said, if they build on the foundation they set in this episode, because it's not always exciting, it's not always a thrill to lay track, but if we send the train over it, the Silver Bullet Express, then we got Kampai. We got something good.
That's right, Kampai. Well, that's our show for this week, and the Name of the Moon will be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
Kampai!